Hello students, let's continue the story today. Last day we saw that how Lancho was actually wanting to seek the help from the God to actually as his corpse was destroyed and ruined. He did not have any other option but to ask for help from the God. So he actually decided to write a letter to the God. You read till there. Now we will continue from this paragraph. What actually he wrote in the letter that we will see here. He wrote that, God, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes because the hailstorm. So he is writing his problems to the God, and he is writing that, if you will not help me, he is writing to God, if God, if you will not help me, my family will starve this year. And actually, pesos here, student, means it's actually a currency of several Latin American countries. And he further writes that how his crops was destroyed, and his crops was actually destroyed because of the hailstorm. And then he further writes that on the envelope of the letter, that letter is actually put inside the envelope. So on the envelope also we have to sometime write something. Put letter inside and still trouble went to town, and the post office he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. Actually, student, I taught you all these things on that day, last day, when I taught you that how he, without giving the address on the envelope, he just went to the mailbox. We just went to the post office and placed a stamp on the letter, and then he dropped it into the mailbox. Today we have to read from here. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Actually, when one of the employees of the post office actually saw this, so he was thought it very funny, and it's very obvious that the person who would get to know that someone is writing a letter to God, they will laugh out over it, and they will actually make fun of the person who has written the letter to God. So that person also went to his boss, and then actually he laughed a lot, and he laughed actually heartily, and then showed his letter to the boss and told him that how this man actually has written a letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. And now the address that Lancho wrote on the letter, actually the postman is saying that I have a long career of being a postman, but I have never seen such address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable, once again student, wait. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote the letter, starting up a correspondence with God. So now actually, student, what are you saying that as soon as that postmaster, what kind of the person postmaster is? Postmaster is a very fat and amiable person, and actually as soon as he got to know that this person has written a letter to God, he also broke out laughing, but almost suddenly he turned serious, and he actually tapped the letter on the desk. It means he just put the letter on the desk and then just commented about the letter and about the person. Wow, what a faith this man has. And then the postmaster is also wishing that काश मेरे पास भी ऐसा ही faith होता. I wish I had the same faith the man had. And actually and then he read the starting line of the letter. The Lancho actually wrote with the correspondence with the God. So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So, what students you are seeing in this paragraph, that Lancho had a great faith in God, and all the members there in the post office was quite impressed with this faith that Lancho had. They were surprised but at the same time they were quite impressed with the faith that Lancho had, and they actually did not want this faith to be lost by someone. So all of them actually decided to help Lancho in a way, so that his trust that he had with the God does not continue. A person doesn't lose faith in God. That's more important, and that is why the postmaster and others actually decided to help him, not only just by replying the letter, but actually doing something good for him, showing a goodwill for Lancho. So they actually brought ink and paper, and then they all of them actually collected money. They will actually money order to Lancho on his address, and it would be a reply from the God. That's what they would show him. So actually you are saying in this story that in humanity and mankind, how one person is helping the other. So ultimately you are learning that it's about mankind, and one man should help the other man. That's what this paragraph is suggesting you by the behavior of postmaster and all the postmen there in the post office. Student, we will continue this story tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow it will finish, because there are only 2 or 3 more paragraphs, and then we will discuss on these questions and answers also.